Hey everyone, it's Joy here and welcome back to my channel for another Shark Week card event video for 2022. This video is sponsored by Fawn. So I'm going to be making a spinner card today, which I have never made, and we'll be using their duh-nuh and duh-nuh flip-flop stamp sets. Okay, so here are the little stamp sets, super cute, and this is going to be perfect for the spinner card. This is inspired by Jennifer McGuire. This was her design that I am using, and it's really super simple to make and so much fun. Like I said, I've never made a spinner card before. So I'm going to color my cute little sharks with Copic markers. You can see the caps there at the top of what colors I'm using, but they're super simple, and I love these little shark images. I think these sharks are so darn cute from Fawn. Now remember, to be entered into the giveaway for today's video, you need to leave a comment below, but it needs to be the answer to my question that I'm going to ask at some point during the video. Also, all of that information is listed for you below in the description and also on my blog at createitwithjoy.com. Okay, so I'm going to finish coloring this little top part of these cute sharks. These guys are going to be sandwiched around the thread that's going to make them spin inside of this card. And really, this is a super simple card. If you've never done a spinner, I mean, I was a little like, what am I going to do? I don't know if I can get this done, but I did. And I don't know why I feel like that sometimes, because really it's super simple and, you know, when you break it down. But you definitely can head over to Jennifer McGuire's channel and look for her spinner card, and it's really super awesome. So I'm going to use the coordinating dies to die cut out my cute little shark images here and just run that through my die cut machine. Then you have a piece of cardstock that was a full size. You cut it in half, and then you're going to take about a quarter of an inch, about a quarter of an inch off. No, I did, yeah, a quarter of an inch off the bottom. And then you're going to fold it like you would an A2 size card. Then I have another piece. So I have my full 8.5 by 11 piece. I'm cutting that in half. And then I'm going to score it at the 4 1/4 and then fold it. So now I have an A2 size. So this is going to be the outside piece. The white piece is going to be the inside of the card because it is a little bit smaller. Okay, I'm going to score it at 2 1/2 and flip it around and then score it at 2 1/2 again. So now you're going to have 3 folds on this, or 3 score marks. So 1 in the center and then 2 1/2 from the outside. So it's going to make this M that's going to fit inside of your regular A2 size card base. So that's how that's going to look. Okay, so let's do some ink blending. I love ink blending. Of course, I'm using some Distress Oxide inks, and I'm using Chipped Sapphire, Salty Ocean, and Peacock Feathers. And I did ink up my ink pads because they were pretty dry, and so they are super juicy, super wet, which really, see, that is so wet there, really makes your ink blending go much easier and much quicker. So I'm starting with the dark at the bottom. I want this to feel dark and deep, scary, deep, dark ocean. And then I will have the peacock at the top. That is the salty ocean in the middle. And I feel like this is just a really fantastic color combination. And it does look a little splotchy right now, but you know, you just keep going and it just ink blends super well. So I like to go back and forth with the colors that are touching each other, and then I will bring in, so right now I'm using the peacock feathers. I'll bring back in the salty ocean to get those two to blend nicely. One more time between the colors, I will spritz that on the background because I want it to have the water effect, and just tap it dry. Then I'm using a die cut circle, and I'm going to place that kind of towards the top because this is where we're going to see our spinner. I'm taping that in place with some low tack tape and running that through my die cut machine. I love the spritzing of the background with the water because I just feel like it just really looks like there's bubbles everywhere in the ocean. I think it's such a pretty effect, especially for ocean backgrounds. So I want to add some stenciling to my background, and I am using Trinity Stamps Summer School 6x6 stencil. It's a 3-pack. And then I'm using Hero Arts Unicorn ink to add some fish. So you're going to see the shark is going to be in that window spinning, but I didn't want to leave the background completely naked. So I want to see schools of fish. So I'm using the unicorn ink, But then I'm going to bring in that blender brush that I just ink blended that background and kind of soften how white they are because it was a little too stark for me, but now they kind of blend a little bit better. Now I have a piece of string that I'm coloring with the chipped sapphire. This was Jennifer McGuire's idea. Either you have a see-through string, or if you have like white string, color it. So that's what I'm doing because I did not have see-through string. So you just don't want to notice that when your little sharks are spinning. I'm adding my white highlights, my black glaze pen now because I actually thought ahead, which was amazing because usually I forget. And I'm like, darn, how am I supposed to color it now when it's spinning like this? Okay, so I'm taping it down with low tack tape. I did have to come back in with better tape than this. I actually used my purple tape, which you need like white tape or clear tape that's strong because you will see this when the card's standing up. So I just didn't have any of that, so I had purple tape. So use a stronger tape than just low tack. I've got my score tape I'm putting on the backs of my sharks. And then I can peel back the first liner and line up the shark in that window. So super easy. And then adding some liquid glue so it will like really, really hold as well. So you've got your score tape and your liquid glue. Once I get that down in place, but what was happening was my string was moving. I left this in because I wanted to show you. My string was not tight because that tape was not strong enough to like hold it in place. So this is where I brought in my purple tape. Again, don't use purple tape because you will see it at the top. But now that's holding, so I can push that down, add my other little shark on top, and now it spins. It's so cute. See how easy this is? I just thought this was way more complicated. I think I tend to make things more complicated in my head. So I need some waves for the inside. I am using Lawn Fawn's stitched wave borders. I love these things. So here is my wave that's going to go underneath my shark, and then I'm going to have waves on the side. So I die cut this twice, but I did another wave die, so it's not the exact same wave. And then I'll show you how I adhered these to the front and made it super simple, quick to measure because I don't measure. So I'm going to do the same ink blending on these that I did on the inside. I want to keep everything nice and cohesive, but I am not adding the peacock feathers on the top because the waves don't go all the way up that far. So I am just using the chipped sapphire and the salty ocean because that's where it lines up essentially on my card. So, I mean, ultimately I didn't really need to ink blend the whole main card underneath, but I wasn't quite sure exactly how I wanted my waves, so I just did that to be on the safe side. But now seeing this design, if you were to copy this, you would not have to do all of that ink blending all the way down. So I'm going to spritz those just like I did the background and then just gently wiping it off with a dry rag that I have on hand. And then I'm going to line this up and I'm going to just move it up a little bit and I'm going to mark where the score lines are on the back of this card because I want to trim down on the sides, so not in the center. I'm going to trim off the sides where those score marks were. And then I can mark the center again. That way I can score this because you want this to fold with the front of that card, so it needs to kind of match. So I'm going to line that up, just make a little bit of a mark, and then use my bone folder to score that. Fold it on the score line, and then you'll see that that just fits nicely, and I'm going to just tape that in place. I added tape at the top and I'm like, wait a minute, you're going to see that through the hole. So I just use my powder tool to deactivate the sticky on my tape runner. So I'm going to tape that in place, and then we can get the sides of the waves in place as well. And you can see how this just fits perfectly color-wise with the background. But now he's got this little wave underneath him, which I just really, really love. And so I made sure to also not have it too high that my shark could not spin. So it looks like he's barely touching it because it's that close. Okay, so this one I'm marking the bottom. I'm lining up the top parts of my wave to make sure that everything is nice and even and cohesive. And then I can trim off the excess and bring that over to the other side and adhere that down. And now we've got the waves going all the way across. Really super simple. I'm going to trim off the excess, and then look how cute. He's so, so cute. Okay, so I'm going to stamp my sentiments on the inside. and it says, "You are jawsome." I'm going to do some white heat embossing, so definitely make sure your background is nice and dry. I'm going to prep that with my powder tool. Obviously, I have this in my Misty. And we'll be doing the white heat embossing. I'm using some VersaMark ink. That's the clear embossing ink. And I'm using Tailored Expressions powder tool. I love this powder tool. Ever since I've been using it, I've really not have had issues with little pieces of embossing powder sticking to anything, which is really super nice because you know that's very, very frustrating. Okay, so I am using Pinkfresh Studios Adore Alpha Set. I love this die set, and I'm going to be spelling out duh-nuh. So I'm going to die cut all of this 3 times from white cardstock. And then I can glue these together to give some dimension for the front. Now, here's my question for you guys to enter into the giveaway. It's, do you watch Shark Week on Discovery? Like, have you ever watched it? Do you like to watch it every year? Do you look forward to it? I love Shark Week, obviously, and I watch it every single year, and I have forever and ever and ever and ever. So it is, I just love it. I so look forward to it. So comment that below to be entered into the giveaway. Okay, I'm using that summer school stamp set that I used earlier, but the bigger fish here and chipped sapphire to go on the front. I just wanted to have a little something extra, a little bit of movement, because the front is fairly simple with the sentiment. And then I did spritz the background, and I trimmed that down slightly smaller than an A2 size, and I'm going to adhere that to the front of a card panel, and then I can adhere that to my card base. So the colors of cardstock, you know, I'll have to have those listed for you because I don't have them on here. I think that's a dark blue from Cardstock Warehouse. Okay, so I'm using my ruler, my T ruler to place, and I'm sorry my head's in the way, to get all of my letters nice and even and straight, because, I mean, you could eyeball it, and sometimes I do, but I felt like I was going to mess that up. So now let's adhere this inside piece. I've got score tape on just the 2 outside pieces, not the inside where the shark is. And I'm going to peel back all of the release paper, and then we can just kind of fold this, and this is really simple to put inside of the card. So fold it on itself, make sure your shark is nice and good, place it with a little bit of distance, because again, this is smaller than the A2 size card, so I have a little bit of a frame around the 3 sides, if that makes sense, top, bottom, and outside. Then close your card down, press it down, and open it, and look how perfect that is. Now you've got a little bit of a dark frame from your cardstock, whatever color cardstock you use. Mine's dark, so I have a dark mat around. Spin your little shark, get him all twisted. You want that string to get twisted up. So I'm just going to spin him. He kept trying to spin back on me. And then once you get him where you want, you're going to close the card, and then you would pop it in your envelope. So when your recipient gets it, they pull it out and they open it up. This is what's going to happen. It's going to spin. Look how cute that is. I love this spinner card. So thank you, Jennifer McGuire. You're so awesome. Okay, guys, that's another Shark Week card video. Come back tomorrow for another one. I will see you then, and have a wonderful day. Bye.